This episode of the TangoLive podcast is brought to you in part by Society GG. Are you into gambling for skins? Head over to Society GG now to get started. This episode of the TangoLive podcast is also brought to you in part by Trap Nation. Need some good music in your life? You can check out Trap Nation over at youtube.com/trapnation. This episode of the TangoLive podcast is also brought to you in part by EO Reality Game Server Hosting. With high-performance servers in 7 locations around the world, you can check them out over at eoreality.net. Hello everybody, welcome to the second episode of the TangoLive podcast. I'm Papi Ro, and this is Vita.
How you guys doing?
The lovely face you're looking at right now, because I don't have a webcam. I guess the first piece of news we could probably just get into right away is the TSDC, or the greatly named Tango Summertime Development Conference. It'll feature some updates and some incoming features, upgrades, sponsors, content, and basically a lot of stuff that's going to be coming over to Tango. It's going to be held on the Tango Twitch, right?
It's the Tango Twitch on Saturday. I think around, it's supposed to be like noon Pacific, 2, or I don't know, it's like 3 Eastern. I know that. It's just because of my time. But most of the stuff they had during the spring ahead will be probably brought up, updates, everything with the Tango timer that we talked about last time. And a few other things. I think, aside from that, of course, the update with the Society being our new sponsor, us letting go of CSGO Big after a couple months, but it's good for us, and it brings a new shine of people into our community.
Mm-hmm. So if it's going to be held on Tango's Twitch, that's twitch.tv/TangoWW_TV. Remember that underscore. And I guess it's July 9th at noon Pacific, so that's 3 Eastern or 8 Greenwich if you want to figure it out for your time if you're not within Pacific or Eastern time.
I think like I said with Society, you want to talk more about that, or I think the main thing is with it is just that Blacklisted contacted us back in November, and we weren't really sure about it, and finally here we just got the announcement that we are now sponsored with them. He was the former marketing director. I worked with him whenever I was a moderator for CSGO Big. He was the person who encouraged me to be a part of it, and it's good to see we're working with him again. He's a great guy to talk to, and very, very conversive with people in the community. Not a very shelled guy like how some things were at CSGO Big, but that's just moving forward, I guess.
Yeah, Society GG, I can't say. I myself am not sponsored by Society GG, but I can say they have a really nice bus system that can make your life or ruin your life as a whole. I say they have a great bus system with a tear running down my face. But yeah, so moving on from our lovely sponsors, we got a little bit of a sad news now. Time for sad tears to come down your face, because we've got a couple of resignations coming into Tango. Not people leaving Tango. Want to make that clear? They're not leaving.
These people are just stepping down.
Yeah, they're just stepping down from their leadership or staff positions. The main one I want to focus on right now is our former co-owner, Mobs, stepping down.
Yeah.
I know he's been a part of Tango for a while now. I say a while with like.
Yeah, I was in Tango back in March of last year, and I left for a month. He was kind of the encouragement for me to get back into Tango, and also the person who put a boot in my rear end for being a part of the community a lot more, which is why I decided I want to do TangoLive. I did esports with Orange Pulse before he disappeared there for a while, so sad to see him go. It's good he's going to stick around with us and still represent the community the same way and help with TeamSpeak, but it just won't be the same having him as co-owner, or he'll be busy most of the time now, but it's good to hear from him. Good to hear that he's not leaving us completely.
Yeah, at least he didn't leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Another resignation we got coming in is Urbana, who is the former CL lead. That was his position.
He was the former CL lead. Urbana was a great guy too. Was very, very I'm trying to think of a word here. He's very friendly to anybody. You know, he always wanted to encourage people to join community leadership, and it's a great thing to be a part of. And if you aren't, you should probably go join it. If anybody is not a community leader, want to help the community more, go join it. Because I think Zyra was the person who got community lead, or she's the lead of community leadership now. So it's great to see they already had an immediate replacement, and Zyra seems to be a good addition to that. She seems a very friendly person and good replacement for Urbana. But Urbana did a great job. He built community leadership to something that's a crowning achievement, I guess I could say. So it's good to see they're going to continue it on.
Better than anything I could have said.
Yep.
Last, we got Dr. Friday, who is the div staff of GTA 5.
He was, I think, the lead or something like that. Yeah.
I just recently joined the Tango social club group in the hopes that I could maybe play, a bit of Tango, GTA 5, stuff like that. But
he still runs it and everything. I know he plays sometimes. I only knew him because of the hip hop music he posts in the music thread, which is how I've gotten most of my interest into hip hop again. Because I used to listen to like heavy metal and whatnot. That's all I'd listen to. So
she got some lit music on there, V.
Yeah.
Okay. Now to move away from our awfully sad news. We got a raffle, boys. APN is holding a $50 raffle for any game that you want on Steam, as long as it's, quote, $49.99 before taxes. So that's not $50 exactly, $4.99.99. So that 1 cent is going to ruin your life. So to enter, you must be at least a rookie member in Tango. Unfortunately, no council, staff, or ownership can take part of this. So if you are a council, do we know anyone in council or leadership positions? I don't know. Do we?
I don't know. I can't think of anybody.
Yeah. Who knows? But moving away from that, you must be a rookie member with at least 100 posts on the forums. The winner will be selected randomly on the 16th of July. So if you're interested in looking at this, if you want to know more about the rules that are around this raffle, you can go to the forum post and you can look into more of an in-depth look into how this raffle is going to be held. Moving on from the raffle, we've got the Tango RP beta closing. I played on it when it was running. Very fun indeed. Got a few bugs here and there. I know those have been reported to the devs though, so they'll most likely be fixed by the time that comes around, and I'm pretty sure I've heard that it's going to be coming very soon, like within this month. So if you're interested in that, I think you can expect that.
They wanted to try to have it by the end of July. I played on it a little bit. It is a very, very different rendition from Dark RP. It is nothing like I've ever played on before, and Pixie, of course, destroyed everybody in level, so that was great. She was she was beating like Doomy and all of them. She was like level 21, and everyone else was like level 8 or 9 who had like staff and everything. And I was like, I'm way behind. I joined like a week, 3 or 4 days before the beta ended. I was just like, there's nothing I can do. I can go mine for a couple of days and see how far I get, but yeah, it was a very interesting take on Dark RP. Doomy and them wanted to make their own unique rendition of it, and I think they did a great job with trying to have their own idea of it and the cars and everything else like that. The map they chose is great, especially for what they want to do. So there's a lot more being added that I know of, but I think they're trying to keep it on the download till everything releases. So. Mm-hmm.
Yep, sounds pretty good. So long story short, we hate Pixie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone, if you get on, just go raid Pixie. She'll have all the money probably. So.
Yeah. So. Be sure to do that for me. Thank you. Finally, we just want to close off with a little bit of an prop hunt event going on, being hosted by Crack is Whack. It's going to be on the 5th of July at 12 Eastern. That's 9 Pacific for you Pacific folk like me. The prizes range from 100 to 500 credits depending on your round of play. So it's going to be held on the CSGO server. So if you're interested in joining that, you can head over to the CSGO Prop Hunt server on the 5th of July at 12 Eastern. That pretty much concludes most of the news that we have about general Tango, I guess.
Tango stuff. I think the only thing we have left is our little bit of news and a bit of updates.
TangoLive's news about TangoLive. We're currently going to be hosting auditions for our esports podcast. If you're familiar with the podcast that was held before Vita or myself took over it. Vita was actually the previous host of the esports podcast, but now, seeing as how we got to put a lot of focus towards this general discussion podcast, I felt it would be a whole lot better if we could have another group of people maybe working on the esports podcast. I know a lot of people have interest in esports within Tango, so if you're interested in maybe recording an esports podcast or something, you can PM myself or Vita with a clip of your audition. You can make the podcast maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
2-3 Sounds minutes about long. Good. It can be on YouTube, SoundCloud, or for whatever reason, Tumblr. It don't matter. So long as
anything we can hear.
Exactly. If we can hear it, it is good. The only thing is though, is that I would like to be taken seriously. If you have at least minimal knowledge of esports, even if it's just CSGO, that's fine by me. I know that there's League, there's Dota, now there's Overwatch. CSGO mainly is the main thing because that's kind of our sum of people who get on here. I don't think there's any competitive Gmod, so please don't try to make any competitive Gmod. God forbid, that would be awful. But
God.
Like he said, send it to us. We're looking for people, and we're always open to feedback, suggestions, and comments, questions, concerns.
We probably just offended an entire section of people that believe Gmod is an esport.
There's people who play Gmod esports paintball and whatnot. They're just pickets and signs will be outside our homes pretty soon.
Little do we know, there's an entire esports scene.
There's an esports scene, yeah.
I guess that concludes episode 2 of the TangoLive podcast. Unfortunately, it seems we couldn't figure out how to get rid of our so we'll try to fix that up.
My camera shyness, I barely looked at the camera straight in the lens, so...
You can take a look now.
Oh, I can? Oh, hello there.
Yeah, go ahead and say hello to all of our lovely viewers.
So.
I'll be getting a webcam Sunday. You'll be able to look at me.
Awesome. Sweet. So we can we can put some in the background too.
Yeah. But yeah, that concludes the second episode of the TangoLive podcast. Of course, we're going to be putting this on a forum post, so if you're interested in looking at any of the links we discussed, you can check out the forum post and look at that. But yeah. So I guess we'll see you guys in when the next episode is. Actually, I think this would be a perfect time to discuss our schedule, release schedule. We're going to be releasing these bi-weekly, so instead of releasing them every other week, or every week, we've decided that we'll try to release it every other week so that we can keep the consistency of the quality of the podcast
and of course,
in check.
The next podcast will be the wonderful week of my birthday. So I turned 21, so it's going to be interesting.
Maybe we'll have a drunk podcast?
Yeah, we'll have a drunk podcast now.
Definitely.
Maybe have some party hats and I'll put some streamers or whatnot behind me or something to make it as party as possible. So. But
so every 2 weeks we'll be uploading one of these. So for anyone that really likes listening to these, don't expect it every week. Expect it every other week.
I guess the podcast would be the days that we don't fill in. So it'd be like if this was week 1, next week would be esports podcast, and then ours, and so on and so forth. So it goes as a pattern. So if you like esports, the week after we post ours, there will be a new one.
Yeah, so get on those auditions, boys. And I guess that concludes our podcast. So if you enjoy listening to our uhs and ums, you can definitely wait for our third episode.
Our next podcast, I think.
Yeah. All right, so that concludes it. Now, I've said it. This concludes the podcast maybe
we've added
5 different times.
Sorry.
But yeah. Later, guys.